Y'all can also pull up YouTube on y'all like on a separate device, like on your phones or whatever, or any other device,
I
so
use
y'all can
my
be able to look at the comments. Peace and light, family. I hope that y'all are well. Okay, hold on. Let me mute my thing. All right. I hope that y'all are well. So we are live with my sister Queens. I'm gonna introduce y'all in a second. Let me set up my arrangements. We are live with my sister Queens, and we are going to talk about the topic of trust. Now, I just want y'all to know the real of us being here. So this is an honest, pure, and authentic conversation. Hey, Robbie. Yes, Robbie said he loves this. This is a real honest. Oh, thank y'all so much. Everybody is sending so much love already. Thank y'all. This is a real honest, pure conversation about the topic of trust, you guys. And this is just me and my sister Queens building. So since I got this Zoom thing working, y'all about to see me show my behind with this Zoom, okay? y'all, y'all about to see all my friends, because really, you guys, my intention with sharing these sacred conversations is that I know that, a lot of people may not have the ability to talk about this real stuff, or talk about the things that have been on their mind, and they may not feel comfortable sharing it with their circle. So I strive to share the conversations I have with my sister circle, and I really want to open up the conversation for everybody, because when we talking about healing, we talking about mental wellness, physical wellness, spirituality, love, relationships. And the thing about our sister circle is that we don't always all agree. We have different perspectives and different opinions, and we challenge each other, and we love on each other in the midst of challenging each other, And I want you all to be a part of this conversation, because I heal from talking to my sisters. I know we all heal from talking to each other, and most importantly, we grow. So I want all of us to grow together. And with that being stated, let me go ahead and introduce my sister Queens, my beautiful, amazing, gorgeous, loving, beautifully healing, creative, cultural sister Symphony. Let me tell you about this sister. I talked about her in the previous live, okay? I talked about her in the previous live. And remember, I told y'all about the sister who was making the sea moss sugar scrubs? Remember, I told y'all about that? Remember, I told y'all about the sister who was making the good body butters that keep you supple and soft? Okay, with the sea moss and the coconuts and the lemon zest and all the healing products in it. This sister right here is the sister. Okay, so Sim, introduce yourself. Please give your Instagram where they can come and see your beautiful works, and they can support you if they want to. Please look at all her stories, because in her IG story, she give all the good quotes. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'll be stealing some of her stuff to put in my story, okay? So that's just me being real. Sim, introduce yourself, my beautiful chocolate queen.
Girl. Hi, y'all. My name is Symphony. I am the CEO. That sounds crazy, but I am the CEO. We are a creative apparel clothing line that also does body butters, body scrubs. We got oils. We got everything coming, baby. We are about healing. We are about love, light, and positivity. Mariah, I don't have, I'm I don't have.
Come on, tell them about the love circle. Tell them about the love circle.
Okay, so I also have a podcast called The Love Circle, and we air every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and it's just about love, healing, love, positivity, and light. We get together and we talk about whatever topics are important. My first season, we talked about healing ourselves. The second season is going to be about healing our neighbors, our community, working on finances. So it's love and light. It's all love and light.
Ashe. Imani Latifa, honey. I feel like I really don't even need to introduce her, but I'm gonna tell y'all right now. She about to be a regular. Okay, so it's simp. So get to
Y'all
okay. So
hear
let me tell y'all
this?
about the real name thing. Symphony, y'all gotta remember this is inside conversation with my sister circle. So y'all may hear each other call each other by our real name, hear us say nicknames. Symphony nickname, I call her Simp. Okay. Imani Latifa is Imani or Mani, or some people say Money. You'll hear some of our other sister queens call her Money. But Imani Latifa, I introduced her previously. Beautiful, creative filmmaker, jewelry maker, art maker, creator of multiple things, ancestral art capturer and cultivator.
Thank
My
you.
sister queen is just amazing. Imani, go ahead and reintroduce yourself to the family. They know you, but let them know you.
Well, oh, my name is Hope. I had a minute. Like I had a minute back at that Jay-Z concert back in 2000. Let me not tell my age, but that's before Jay and Bay was together. Like, my name is Ho. It was so much fun. Anyway, hi family. I am half video because my room is a mess. Because as creatives, sometimes you are messy, and sometimes it's kind of like a creative mess, but y'all don't need to see that. So I just wanted to say to baby sis Queen Poe Mariah that I am glad to be back, and I'm glad to be spilling the tea about what truth is, because we need a lot of truth and reconciliation nowadays. As you all know, a lot of truth is coming to light. So we're gonna build on that. So we thank y'all for joining us tonight. And I actually got my iPad set up, so I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna try to pay attention. I don't know how well I multitask, but it's nice to see all of you all. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, we're gonna try to rock with you.
Yeah.
All right.
Dang. So, family, our topic today, Imani Latifa, her beautiful mama, my mama, our mama. Okay, she is
Mama.
she everybody mama. Okay, Mama
Mhm.
Sheila is everybody mama. We try to convince her to come on so y'all could get this dope elder perspective. As Imani told y'all in the last live, her mother is here, and she always been here. She always
Yeah.
been for the people. And every time we speak, me and her had just had a long conversation a couple days ago. Every time we speak, I leave thinking, which when you have a great conversation, a conversation is good when you leave that conversation contemplating. So her mama gave Imani the topic of trust. And before we started this live, we already got into talking about the topic of trust a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and give y'all a recap and start from the beginning. For me, I feel like trust is a valuable topic that I've been wanting to go live about for a while, but I have not, because I wanted to have a variety of perspectives on trust. As I always tell y'all, and shout out to I hope that they're in here. If not, it's okay. But shout out to my moderators, who I already explained that when I'm speaking, I like to have people, if you can and if you desire to, and as long as it's authentic, I don't mind when people challenge me. I don't ever want to be a single stream of consciousness, Kanye West style. I don't want to ever be that. I like to have conversations where we have different perspectives and different views. So when it comes to the topic of trust, I feel like it's such a deep topic and such a topic of value that I want to have people here who view trust in different ways, and who have experienced trust in different ways. So us having this conversation, feel free to share in the comments how you feel about trust, what you think about trust, your experience with trust, your definition of trust, as we have this conversation. And really, let's get it going, y'all. Okay, so with that being stated, my sister queens, or whoever want to start. My sister queens, how do you define trust?
You want to go first? I guess I'm gonna go first. I'm like looking at every direction. There's like cameras all around. But that's the thing. Trust is a real sacred thing. You know what I'm saying? And I think when I was younger, you probably would just kind of give away your trust, because I think we as people of African descent, it's kind of like we naturally want to trust people. We naturally want to give people the benefit of the doubt. But I think society has shown us, especially as Black women, that people have got to earn your trust. You know what I'm saying? Because like, Lord knows, and I'm sure everybody who watching this live can relate to it. Somebody then broke your daggone trust. Somebody said they was going to do something, they didn't come through. You gave them some money, they ain't pay you back. They said they was going to take you somewhere, they ain't take you. They said they was going to make sure you had something, you ain't have it, and then you felt like you was all alone, left by yourself. And so, whereas that's not necessarily an issue, because you learn to grow and you learn to accept that. And then on the whole strength and premise of like my mom said to me this evening, she was like, there's some people who I love who I don't trust. People who you love who you don't trust. That's some heavy shit right there. Like, for real. And then like people who you are intimate with. So I'm going to start with the intimate part. Baby.
Okay, but wait a minute, sis. Before you describe who you trust and how you should trust, how do you define that word trust? What is trust? What does it mean to trust someone?
See, the thing is, I guess, like leading up to that, like for me, because everybody has their own experience, everybody has their own interpretation of what they deem trust is. For me, trust is like that whole thing. If you can't rescue me, God, I can't trust you.
That's it.
And let me break that down. If I'm stuck somewhere and I ain't got no money, and I call you, I be like, I need you to cash at me $20 now. I'm stuck. If you ain't cash apping me right now, okay. Especially if I'm telling you I'm in an emergency situation, you should be able to at least call up people who you ride or die with, who your asshole buddies, and you be like, yo, I need you to send me money now. I'm stuck. They don't question you. They be like, all right, I'm sending you something right now. They be like, then they ask you all the preliminary stuff. Or trust is that, yo, I think that dude cheating on me. And you look at your homie, they be like, you want to do a ride by? And they like, yeah. And they with you, they trust you because they know you got to go on. I'm just being facetious. I'm just saying.
No. If you want to bust a tire, can you bust a tire with me?
I want to bust a tire. I know y'all had to do a drive by somebody's house. No, you had to do a drive by. But what I'm saying is the whole level of trust where people like instantly, it's that look. You look at them, you know what it is. You know they got your back. Trust to me is somebody having your back. You don't have to second guess it. You don't have to ask.
Yeah.
You already know. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You already know that they're going to be there for you. It's no doubt. And I think sometimes it takes people a little bit longer to prove their trust. And you probably be looking at them sideways like, I don't know about you. But if you really need them, you can call on them. But if you have that inkling that somebody's going to be flaky, nah, get out of that. That's all I'm saying. That's my interpretation of that because,
of trust.
I've met flaky people in my life. Oh, and I have been that flaky person sometimes.
Okay. We're going to get there. We're going to get to like flakiness and empathy and all of that stuff. So for you, how do you define trust?
I have to agree with Imani. Like being able to be saved by this person, knowing that without a shadow of a doubt, you can depend on this person, whether it's something big or something small, you know that you can depend on this person. But I also feel like, in listening to Imani, I feel like intuition plays a huge role into this. You have to be intuitive about certain people, certain situations. You have to learn to trust yourself before you start trusting other people. Like definitely trusting yourself first, because my issue is I don't trust myself, but I was trusting other people with me. Now how does that work?
Yeah, how does that work? Let's talk about that. How does that work?
Good question.
For me, I define trust as being, I agree with both you sisters. For me, trust is reliable.
Mhm.
Are you reliable? Are you somebody that I could depend on? Whether if it's, when I'm in my worst times, will you be there? And when I'm in my best times, are you going to celebrate me? Can I
Mhm.
rely on you to have good intentions? That's what it comes down to for me always, is the intention of it all. Can
Mhm.
I rely on you to have good intentions no matter what you do?
Yeah.
Can I rely that your intentions for me are well, and your intentions and things that we have or we are doing or we have going on are well? Can I rely on your intentions of wellness? I'm always like, my main thing is wellness. Are your intentions conducive to my wellness? If they are not, I cannot trust you. And Sim, I love that you. So y'all, I keep saying Sim, but once again, reminder, her name is Symphony, beautiful Symphony. Okay, but Sim, when I think about that question that you pose about trusting other people, and you may not really trust yourself,
Yeah.
and that's really during my journey of trust, because when I was younger, I used to be the first one. Just shout out to Drake, trust issues. Okay, I was the first one to say I had trust issues. I felt
Mhm.
like I couldn't trust people. I couldn't rely on people. I couldn't depend on anybody. And I definitely think that when we go through a life of trauma, when we go through a life of pain, when you go through a life of constantly being disappointed, constantly being let down, constantly being reminded of things that you cannot do and things that you aren't good at, a life of essentially abuse.
Mhm.
Because a lot of us, whether we recognize it or not, are survivors of emotional abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. Some sort of abuse has impacted us throughout our life. And I definitely think that, as we progress and as we move along throughout this lifetime,
Mhm.
our trust is beaten down by abuse. We feel like we can't trust society. We can't trust our family members. I always say, if you can't trust your family, that completely obliterates your trust as a child. If you can't trust your parents to make sure that you can rely on them for your wellness,
Yeah.
then that obliterates your trust as a child, whether it's because they're absent or because they're present but not well. Regardless, that obliterates your trust. And then we meet friends who obliterate our trust. We meet other people, relationships, spouses who obliterate our trust. And for me personally, I was a person who I felt like my trust was gone. But what I had to realize was that my trust issues, as I dug to the root of my problem, because the trust issues was my coping mechanism. Not trusted was how I coped with being constantly disappointed. Not trusting people in the first place was how I coped with being let down, how I coped with being abused. But when I dug to the root of my coping mechanism of trust issues, as I got to the root, I realized it was because I didn't trust me. I didn't trust my own decision making. I had to take accountability and say, I allowed these people in my life. I allowed these circumstances in my life. Once I reached adulthood, I could have chosen not to accept that behavior. I could have chosen not to accept that person, but I cultivated that relationship and I kept that relationship going, including family members. Because you have the option to cut a family member off.
Yeah.
You have the option to stop fucking with anybody and everybody in your circle if you want to. We choose to keep these people. You choose to remain in contact with that
Yeah.
cousin, that brother, that sister, that mother, that father, whoever whose intention is not conducive to your wellness. You choose them. Once I took accountability and said, I am choosing this bullshit,
Yeah.
that's when I realized I didn't trust my wellness with me. I wasn't making decisions that was conducive to my wellness. So how can I expect that of you? I'm choosing you, which is not conducive to my wellness. So I got to choose my wellness. I'm going to cut your ass off. Why? Because I trust me. I'm taking accountability for my wellness. I'm choosing my wholeness over my relationship with you. So
Yeah.
once I built up that trust for me, once I realized that my trust is in knowing for sure that my intentions for my wellness is there, I had to recognize that, you know what? I don't have trust issues with you. I had to put the trust in me. And because I trust me with my wellness, I'm now going to give you the opportunity to show me who you are.
Mm.
And what did Maya Angelou say? Once someone shows you who
Someone,
they are, believe them. And that's some trust for
Ashe.
your right there, for real.
That's
Mm-hmm.
good, Mariah. I could have threw a shoe at you, sis.
Okay,
Listen, because you don't think about that stuff for real. Like, and then our parents weren't taught to think about the trauma that they're placing on us. And growing up, you just go through the phases. You don't realize that you just burying those traumas or using coping mechanisms to cope or to make it seem like you have coped with the situation. You don't realize how toxic you're making, how much worse you're making the situation in most cases.
Mm. I feel
Absolutely.
like, growing up, you realize that, especially if there's an issue of trauma, and I know I'm a little older than y'all, but I feel like, growing up, you kind of like, you want to be liked by everyone. You want everyone to like you, and you kind of have to be very mindful because being a people pleaser can be very dangerous and detrimental to you, to your wellness, as you so eloquently say, Queen Mariah, Queen Poe. Um, Having to always be available to people, these are some of the things that you can break your self-trust, saying that you're going to do things when you really don't want to do things. You know what I'm saying? It really kind of leads down the line about, like, trusting of your own judgment and your maturity, or, not being honest yourself, and that's not trusting yourself to say no or say yes, or not being aggressive enough. I'm saying all these things kind of lead up to, like, that whole mechanism of, like, really trusting your own judgment about how you do in life. But sometimes people just don't know any better. They might have come from traumatic situations. They might have always been there. It's kind of like, how do you reshape yourself? How do you center yourself? And then going back to that. So you have to kind of start with building uh, relationships, kind of taking baby steps towards building up trust. When you take these baby steps towards it, that way you and the other people that you allow into your sacred space, your intimate space, these people can be held accountable, because accountability, trust, and love is like a triangle.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand. Accountability, trust, and love is a triangle. It
One more
goes
time, sis. One more time.
accountability
Accountability.
and, triangle, not nothing else, no Illuminati. I'm just letting y'all know.
You ain't the
Accountability.
Delta. You ain't the Delta either, right? Okay.
Or younger. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just doing the triangle. Accountability, love, and trust. It's a triangle. It goes hand in hand. You can't have love without trust. You can't have trust without accountability. Communication, it's like a whole area of things. But first it starts with you. You give
Oh,
people the
wait.
benefit
I
of the
need you.
doubt.
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? That
I'm
one
flowing
gave
here,
me
girl. I'm
chills.
flowing. What I
That
say?
one, I'm sorry, but that one brought me chills. When
Which
you
one was that?
said you cannot have love without trust, and you
Mm-hmm.
cannot have trust without accountability.
Abso-freaking-lutely, yes. For my mom when she watched this later. Abso-fucking-lutely. Look, accountability, y'all. If you're not even holding yourself accountable for the fucked up shit you did, you said, or didn't say, oh, how many times I should have said some shit when I didn't. Oh, how many times? I know y'all been there, knowing you should have said no, because you're not trusting the process. You're not trusting that the outcome is going to be well, baby. Shit. Accountability, love, and trust go hand in hand. It's a triangle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just is. It's like, you know, and I'm learning within my intimate relationships to say how I feel, because if I love somebody, if I love you and I trust you, I am going to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna speak my tea to you. I'm gonna speak my tea. I'm gonna spill my tea. But if I don't love you and if I don't trust you, you ain't getting shit. You get a brick wall. You get a brick wall. And once you get a brick wall, why is that person even in your life? You need to go back and reevaluate. So we can build from there. Anybody got any questions? The triangle. Love, trust,
Yeah, somebody asked
accountability.
what was the triangle again?
Love,
Afro-Caribbean said trust. Go ahead.
love, trust, and accountability. Starting with self-love. First, you're going to hold yourself accountable, right? Because whatever you say, whatever you do, and people got to earn your trust. We cannot give that away. This is not no $2 free pussy. We are not giving it away. You know what I'm saying? This is real shit. You've got we as Black folks, we trust too fucking much. Later for that. We trust too much. Stop it. People got to earn our trust. Earn it, earn it, earn it. And as I'm saying this to y'all, I am surely talking to myself, but this is something I'm redefining. This is what is called self-accountability. Because when you go down that triangle, you have to hold yourself accountable. And if you love somebody and you want to grow within that trust, if you want to build on the whole aspect of the love and trust, you've got to be accountable. It's a triangle, like the triangle of trade. Come on now.
See now, for me personally, icon the artist. I gotta shout my sister Queen out. Y'all go check her out. To the Black girls with big names, go check her out. Icon the artist. I gotta show love. Imani, I love everything that you said. The only aspect that I disagree with is that people have to earn our trust.
Yeah.
We're gonna go
I
back and forth
feel
for a
like
while.
really no, but this is the thing. Now hear me out. This is the thing. I do feel like we as Black folks, we trust too much. I do agree with that. But my philosophy is I believe in the connection. I believe in the universe. I believe in the connection of all. And because I see, I always say I'm that crazy person that still believes in world peace. But most importantly, it's because I believe in divine connection. I believe in the universe. I believe in the reflection that when I meet a person, I truly believe that you are the reflection of the divine. You are the reflection of God, because I know for sure that you are a piece of God just as I am. Understand? So for me personally, I trust myself. I trust me. And because I trust me, I start out trusting you.
Yeah.
And really, some people may define that as I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So when I meet someone new, I meet them with the trusting spirit. I meet them with trusting that they are well or that they are striving for wellness. I meet them trusting that, they have the intention of wellness at the foresight. Now, my thing is, as Maya Angelou, Mama Maya, as I like to call her, as Mama Maya says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Right.
I don't want to go in not trusting anyone, because I believe in tabula rasa. Everybody starts with a blank slate. If I come in not trusting you, I'm coming in with my trauma. I'm coming in with my coping mechanisms from my past history, which is understandable because as Black folks as a whole, we've all been victims of trauma. We all have PTSD. But I am not going to meet you with my trauma. Instead, I'm going to meet you with my healing. And with me meeting you with my healing, I'm going to start you at a blank slate, because once again, I see me in you. I see you in me. I see God in you because I see God in me. So I trust you because I trust myself. But if you show me otherwise, I'm going to trust that too. When you show me who you are, if the person that you show me to be is opposite of someone that deserves my trust, then I ain't gonna trust you no more. You see what I'm saying? So my philosophy is I come in trusting you. I come in with the benefit of the doubt. But the discipline I had to make for myself was when someone shows me who they are, cut their ass off.
Yeah.
Okay, because they are not conducive to my wellness. When they show me that their intentions, because keep in mind, my definition of trust means that your intentions is conducive to my wellness. Once you show me that your intentions are not conducive to my wellness, I'm going to implement my option of cutting your ass off,
Yeah.
of not fucking with you no more. That's just me personally. But I trust you in the beginning. When you show me who you are, you're done. If who you are is not conducive to my wellness.
If I may, Orange Moon had a very good, and I wanted to bring this up.
Come on, Orange Moon.
People need to, isn't there some things people need to figure out on their own? And since I feel like I'm being controlled when I speak my truth sometimes, you ladies want to address that, or let's kind of, and then I have a response for you, Mariah, too.
I was
foolish youngin'.
So two things. I wanted to say, my issue now is I started out, okay, I have good faith that you will do the right thing. And now, because of my traumas, my trust issues are kicking in. So I have problems with letting people start with the clean slate, even though I know that they aren't the same as the other people or situation. So Orange Moon, I definitely understand about speaking your truth, because when you're so used to, going back to what Imani said, you're so used to being a people pleaser and you're so used to doing. When you finally do something for you, when you finally say yes to you, it sounds wrong because you're not used to it. You're not used to giving yourself the okay. So it's going to sound like or feel like it's the wrong thing. But just like you give everybody else to go ahead to do and say and feel and be however they, be your truth. Be you. Be the best version of you that you know how to be. Speak up. If you feel like you got to cuss to get your point across, that's you. That's you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everybody, you guys have such wonderful comments. Thank you so much for sharing. But let me just say this so I can go back and reiterate it from a person that's over 40. I'm not necessarily saying that people shouldn't come in with a clean slate. And then there was another thing on here that I saw. R. Trey said, "I'm so confused. Do I trust people or not?" I saw another comment that said innocent. That was from Brandy. Brandy said innocent until proven guilty. This is the thing, my loves.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, Monty. Hold on 1 second. I just want to remind everybody that's watching. Speaking to our Trey, speaking to Afro Caribbean. Afro Caribbean said that's a personal decision, and that's the thing that I want to remind everybody of, you guys. So when I have these live where I bring my sister queens on, it's not so that we can tell y'all what to do. It's not that.
Oh, yeah.
I really want you guys to have an open ear to our personal conversations. These are real conversations that we will have with each other to help flesh out our thoughts, you guys. I'm showing y'all how I grow. I'm showing y'all how I learn. I'm showing y'all how I have gotten to the point where I am as the Queen Poe, or as Mariah, which is my real name, and you'll hear them call me. I'm showing y'all how I got to that point. And it's through honest and real conversations like this where I can share my view on trust, and my sister Queen Imani can share her view, and Symphony can share her view, and we can challenge each other. So this is where we have gotten to the points that we are, and we all are different ages. As Imani pointed out, we come from different places. Imani is from Philly. I grew up in the North and South, as y'all know, Brooklyn, Virginia, Augusta, Georgia. Sim, where are you from, Sim?
Georgia, Savannah and Macon.
Georgia. Okay. Savannah and Macon, Georgia. Okay, so coming from the deep South, we are three different sisters who have found love and friendship within each other and connection within each other. And Chris said, "I feel safe here." Chris, don't you make me cry.
Because
don't make me cry, y'all.
That makes me feel
that's the intention. The
Yeah.
intention is that you guys feel safe. And I'm just showing y'all, with my YouTube channel, you guys, I'm all about being transparent in spirituality and in holistic wellness. I really want to have these conversations because I want to show y'all how I grow. You see, my sister Queen just said, my sister, as being a young girl, you are basically like, let me school you. So I'm about to show y'all how I learn and how I get schooled. And with these conversations, sometimes I change my mind. Sometimes I keep my perspectives.
Yeah.
Sometimes I alter my perspective. With conversations like this is how you grow. Because with new information and new knowledge and hearing other people's experience, you have the right to change your mind. So
Right.
what just happened, what you just witnessed is Imani shared her view on trust. Simp shared her view on trust. I shared my view on trust. We have three different views. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Imani is about to counter my view on
Mm-hmm.
trust, which I am going to listen. You're going to watch me listen to openly and open with the idea that I can change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I can change my
Change her
mind or
damn
I can
mind.
keep my view. So listen and just join the conversation. Y'all comment. Go ahead, Sister Queen.
Yeah, thumbs up, guys. Thumbs up, guys. I hate when they say that on YouTube. Family, we just glad that y'all here. What I was going to say was that people gonna come into your life with a clean slate, especially if it's like somebody you never met before. And so what I mean by earning your trust is that you can be calm and cordial, but things have to be earned. And let me explain. Um, I think I'll use us as an example. I've known Queen Poe, ooh, before she was Queen Poe, when she was that cute little baby girl, before she
I was
was really
peaches. Okay.
into her own, when she still had her big old curly little fro, and but always brilliant mind, always brilliant, always about her business. This is before all the education, this is before all the breakthrough. And so we had met, but there was always something that I admired about her. But over the years, we have developed a loving sistership and a loving, and we have earned, to me, what I mean by earning someone's trust is that, like, over the years, you watch people and you get to know them. And that's what earning your trust is about. Even within intimate relationships, you dealing with men or you dealing with women. And so people come into your life. Remember that thing, recencies and lifetime? And you have to know who and what the people are. And most of the time, the people who are the lifetime people are the ones that you trust, right? So those lifetime people, they come in because they earn that. They know how to rescue you. They know how to listen. They know how to not agree with everything that you're saying. They're not just that yes person, yes, yes, yes. Because people who yes you to death, they ain't really listening to you. You know what I'm saying? They the ones who you can tell your intimate secrets to, and you're not going to turn around and it's all over Facebook or Instagram. Those are the people you trust. But in the beginning, you're gonna have to earn that. You don't know, because in this world that we live in, this wild and crazy world, people are subjected to do anything. We've got mental health challenges. We've got post-traumatic slavery disorder. We've got global white supremacy. We've got issues with sexism and racism and isms and all kinds of stuff. When we're just out here trying to be creative, artistic, love on each other and rock. And so the things have to be earned. And the beautiful thing about it is when somebody says they're going to do something, they might not do it, but the fact that they come through, the fact that they try to adjust, because you love people and sometimes they disappoint you. I know y'all been there where you love somebody and they kind of like, they disappoint you. But then um, you see that there is a turn, not because you want them to turn, but because they want to turn. They want to be a better person towards you. And so that's what I mean by someone earning your trust. I mean, it could even be a work relationship. Y'all know y'all had them jobs where, you and your girl, y'all having problems and you got a work homie, and you don't know if that work homie, but you've been working with this person for a year. And next thing you know, everybody know your business. Everybody talking about you. How is this possible? You thought you could trust this person. You thought they was cool. But they wind up being somebody who telling all your business, putting all your shit out there. But then the person who you never thought would never say anything, that weirdo in the corner, is the one that's down for you. The one that, like, if you have a traumatic thing happening in your life, or you had a passing in your family, they be the one showing up to your house with money and cards. You ain't even have to call and ask. That is somebody who you trust. So you really have to really understand what it is to earn it. And that's what I mean, to earn it. People have got to earn your trust. You can't just, it's kind of like a building block. Like, everybody's played with Legos before. And so you know how you got those Legos, and not the little teeny tiny Legos, the big old fat Legos. And you want to build a house, but you've got to have a solid foundation. So you got to have that board Lego before you can stack up on the Legos, you know what I'm saying? To kind of have a strong foundation so nobody can knock your Legos over. You want to have that right there. So that's what I mean. And I'm sure everybody has their own interpretation. So my thing is, based on my experience as being a, I always tell people I'm 8 years old, because, you know, infinity signal, you know, being 8 years old, within, or my Ethiopian calendar birthday, you know, yeah, I'm 8. Yeah. But it's good to earn the trust. Like, it's just good. It's a good thing. People need to earn it from you. It's not just saying that you're not giving them a clean slate, but what it is talking about, that's how you build. That's how you build. Like the 5%ers, build or destroy. That 120 comes back, build or destroy. When you're earning, you're building.
Yeah.
Word.
What you burning over there? What you burning, sis?
Oh, this sage.
That's some sage.
Are you burning sage? You sure you burning sage?
I mean, it could be something else, but we're not going there,
your
right?
intention.
For the professional community, you know. But so a lot of what Imani said, Mariah, made me think about the vulnerability and being an entrepreneur conversation.
Mm. Okay, we gonna say that for tomorrow.
Okay.
We gonna say so, y'all. Okay, y'all. So let's spill the beans, but
I'm sorry.
we're gonna let y'all know anyway. We're gonna come back tomorrow with the topic of vulnerability, you guys. And the topic of vulnerability is gonna be centered around Jamie Foxx's new movie. That's on Netflix. What's the name of the movie, Imani?
Oh shoot, it's called.
Hold
on 1 second.
It's hard.
Something in Power. Imani is going to get the name of the movie.
I'm about to get it
but the
right.
topic of vulnerability that we're going to have tomorrow. So we're going to come back, all three of us. So, yes, we're going to come back tomorrow with this discussion on vulnerability. And it may be a new Sister Queen popping in. You never know. Okay. But we're going to come back tomorrow with this topic on vulnerability. And it's going to be centered around Jamie Foxx's new movie. I can't see that. All I see is Power. What's the name?
Power.
Project Power. So so please watch that movie if you can. If you have Netflix, watch that movie. We will not give any spoilers necessarily for the movie. I don't like to give spoilers on my channel, but we're going to talk about some main takeaways like I did with Black is King. We'll talk about some main takeaways from the movie. And I haven't even seen it yet myself, but my sister Queen Imani told me that vulnerability is a huge takeaway. And we're going to build on that topic from there. But Sim, so you were speaking on trust coupled with vulnerability. If you could bring that in, but go ahead. What you gonna say?
So it started with me thinking back to like why I have trust issues, like my childhood and dealing with my parents and other relationships, friendships, and all that stuff. And then it made me think about the fact that I was so vulnerable in so many situations to now I don't think my trust issues have caused me to not be so vulnerable anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm not as open. I mean, I'm still open, but I'm still kind of, okay, I'm real leery about whether or not I should or shouldn't. But that goes back to being able to trust yourself, because sometimes if I say something and you say, oh, are you sure? I'll question myself just because you said, am I sure? I can I can be 100% sure that I'm right. But because you questioned me, I start to question myself.
That's so true.
That I be thinking about.
I used to do that to my students all the time when I was teaching in the classroom, right? I'll be doing math, and young Black children would always say when I would be teaching high school, and then I taught high school with children well, I call them children, but young people who just came home from Rikers. So they'll be 17, 18. This is before we had the whole Close Rikers campaign, and they changed the laws. So they were prosecuting children as adults. So in my classroom, I had a lot of young people who were ages 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, who had done time in Rikers, and they would come to my classroom afterward. I was a transition program. And oftentimes their narrative was, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at math. And they had told themselves that so much. So I would give them math problems. I would teach them how to do math, certain math problems. I would give them the math problem. They would solve it and have it right. And I would say, are you sure?
Yeah.
Because they would never check themselves. I would always say, check your answer, check your answer, check your answer. They would never do it. So all I had to say was, are you sure? And they'll always doubt themselves and go back. And I would know that they're right, but me just simply asking, are you sure, would make them do the work to go back and check themselves. You know what I'm saying? But you saying that, someone saying, are you sure, is what it really is tapping into that doubt. And when I was doing it, it was tapping into that doubt that they are good at math.
Yeah.
I would always tell them, you are good at math. You are good at it. You are good at it. You can do it. But they didn't believe it. So when I say, are you sure? Even though I know they got the right answer, I would say, are you sure? It tapped into that self-doubt until that self-doubt was no more. And I knew that self-doubt had disappeared when I would say, they would hold up their whiteboard with their right answer. And I would say, are you sure? And they like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, all right now,
That are you sure it's more so checking, do you trust yourself? Are you trusting yourself? Is today the day that you're choosing to trust yourself? Is this the moment? That's all that are you sure is. That's all that
really
is.
what it is. I love that. I love that, Sim. That was a powerful moment. That are you sure is really asking, do you trust yourself? That's a powerful statement. And I really, you guys, I just want to share that I had, hey, Marquis, I just wanted to share that I had a aha moment. And that aha moment, so Marquis is another one of our sister queens, y'all. Y'all will see her on here soon. That aha moment just came, when Imani, when you share that, you start them at a blank slate, but they have to earn their trust. The aha moment that I realized was that me giving you trust is not starting you at a blank slate.
Yep.
That was the aha moment. See, you guys, so when I said I have these conversations with my sister queens and I learn and I grow, you guys, I just had a shift in perspective. I had a shift in perception. I thought that I was starting people at a blank slate by trusting them. But really, I'm not starting them at a blank slate. What I am is I'm starting them with a building block of trust. I'm not starting them at a blank slate. I'm starting them with a building block of trust. I'm not making them earn their building blocks. I'm starting them with a building block of trust instead. Now, how will I practice starting with a blank slate? I have to figure that out, because from what I know, only thing opposite I know of trusting is not trusting. So what do you guys recommend on that? Because only thing I know, if I don't start by trusting someone, all I know opposite of that is trusting them. So what is the middle ground?
Listen, I'm a Gemini, so if it ain't trust, it ain't no trust.
Oh, it's a Gemini. We got 2 air signs. Oh, Lord, help us all. We got a Gemini and an Aquarius. All right, here comes the water sign. Here comes the parent of the zodiac, the crab. This is what I say. And, this is based off of my life experience. And I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I've seen. I'm telling you that, like, things really will work out better for you if you take your time and really allow people to gradually come into your intimate space with growing with that level of trust. Starting with that whole clean slate, because I think sometimes we kind of put a lot of labels on situations. Sometimes things can be more organic and more simple if you can take baby steps within the relationship process of dealing with anyone. I told that story to, I know Mariah knows it, but Symphony probably doesn't. It was a couple of years ago. I think it was in my last year undergrad. And I had a dog. And it was a young sister who I was dealing with. I was really, really fond of her. I really thought, keyword, I really thought I trusted her. The universe always sends you signs. The first sign I got is when I went away to school and she kept a couple of my things. And I was going to be going to Atlanta for Georgia State for the semester. And she had some of my things at her house. My first sign of me retracting my trust from her, which would have been how she dealt with my stuff. So she knew I was coming to get it. And she put my shit outside of her, like on the side of her house. She put it outside. She wasn't home. And I got it. It was like all kind of fucked up. Like I had a big thing of peppermint soap had spilled in there. Like she just kind of had no regard. But once again, because I'm thinking this is somebody who I trusted, and the thunder is in the background, I'm thinking this is somebody I trusted. I gave them the benefit of the doubt. But that was one of the early signs, because if it's a friend of mine, I'm not going to just put your shit outside, like, so anybody can take it. Yeah. So anything can happen to it, but that's what she did. So that was the first thing. So I kind of like, okay. So we came back, I was gone. That was one of the signs. And then you have people that come into your life, they could be envious of you and you don't even realize it because you don't see the signs. You're so busy giving your trust away because you want to be the honorable person. You want to be that person who is available, but the signs are always in front of you. So make a long story short, I had the dog and I was in Savannah, finishing up at Savannah State. And it was my last, I think it was my last or my second to my last semester. And I had this cute little white Pekingese, I'll never forget. And she wanted the dog because her kids were going to be coming up there. And so I took her and I visited her with the dog. And I was saying, the dog is a really big responsibility to have the dog. Are you sure? She was like, yeah, I'm sure, I got it, blah, blah, blah. And so when I came back to Savannah, it was like 2 weeks had passed by before I heard from her. And then so finally I caught up with her. And this is somebody who I so-called trusted. And so when she finally talked to me, she had like this attitude, whereas I'm happy to talk to my friend. I ain't talked to her in a minute. I'm thinking everything is okay. So come to find out, she called me with an attitude and she was like, well, such and such happened and I don't need nobody, that's going to be coming to my space depending on me, just all kinds of negative behavior. And I'm like, well, what is going on? So she finally tells me, well, the dog ran away, but the dog had ran away 2 fucking weeks ago. And so you waited 2 fucking weeks before you told me that my dog ran away. And so I was like, still trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, still trying to do that. And so I was like, okay, well, is there any information? I'm still trying to be cool, but right now I'm pissed. I can see my seething level just growing. And so she said to me, well, I don't know what to tell you, but I guess I got a letter from the pound. And then now she's lying because the dog wasn't registered in Atlanta. How did she get a letter from the pound? So now she's lying to me. So now my trust is slowly dwindling. It's just gone. It's just dwindling. And the straw that broke the camel's back within this story is the fact that I was like, okay, still trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, still. So I asked her, I'm like, well, is the information on this paper? And she was like, well, you're going to have to Google it. Well, at that point, I hung up the phone because I knew, number one, that person wasn't my friend. I had seen early signs, but I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I never had this woman earn my trust. You know what I'm saying? Not really. And so the gist of that is what I'm saying is that you will try to have people do right by you. But when you see the signs, you've got to trust your own judgment. to sometimes let go and let motherfucking God. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you'll get your heart broken in the midst of not listening to what you know is to be evident. Whereas the right thing to do as a friend would have been call me when it happened and be like, yo, or like, you gonna have to come get this dog. I can't handle it. That's what a friend would do. They would be straight up with you. They would put you, they would prioritize. So that's my story about like people having to earn your trust versus you kind of just being available to just give it to them, because they might take you as some type of easygoing person who you can just take advantage of. And the thing is, I know now, and please please forgive me for interrupting you, Mariah. I know now that there could have been a million ways that I or she could have handled it. But to this day, I don't talk to her. To this day, that's not the type of person who could come back into my life for what? For anything. I don't, and then that whole goes into the whole thing forgiveness. But the thing is that she lost my trust. And that's it. I don't wish her any ill will, but the whole trust thing is gone. You can't have people in your life who you don't trust.
Yeah.
But you know, my question is like when you meet someone new, you know, because that example, it touched a lot of people. That example is for a friend who you thought you could trust, you know, a friend who you trusted. But when you meet someone new, with regard solely to trust, what do you feel? Like if you don't trust them and you don't not trust them, then what is that space in between?
Well, the thing is that like you always have signs. You always have signs. A lot of times, and I'm sure a lot of people are guilty, sometimes you don't listen to those signs. Deeply, I think that she has some mental health challenges and some behavior problems, but that's a whole nother topic. But what I'm saying is
when you meet a new person, not a friend, but a new person, when you meet a new person that you don't know, what is that space in between?
I feel like that space in between is taking some time to observe people and seeing how they roll, seeing how they are, seeing how they deal with things in their life. Everybody is not meant, well, let me say this. Everyone is not meant to be in the front row of your life. Some people are just meant to be associates. Some people are just meant to be people who you be like, hey, you talk to them every 6 months and y'all might catch a movie together or y'all might do something or go shopping, but it's not meant to be like an ongoing thing. And then you have some people who you talk to every day. Those people who are those lifetime people, those folks that you met at your HBCU, who your family, who become your family, those are the people who you trust. When you have something crazy happen in your life, they're gonna be on the plane on their way to you. You know what I'm saying? When you left that nigga house at 5 o'clock in the morning, excuse me for saying that, and you had some issues and you ain't got no money, they sending you an Uber. This is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Or your friend is overseas and they need to talk to you and it's 5 o'clock in the morning and you ain't even up. They calling you on that WhatsApp and you answering the phone. What I'm saying is there's ways of building with new friends, but new friends, you just kind of peep the scene and see what they about. It takes time to earn that. You will know if you can or if you can't put that trust on the line. That's a contract right there, baby. That right there.
For me, I think like learning to trust people, even with my husband now, like I still have trust issues. I love him, I trust him, but I have trust issues. So it's like when new people come into your life, it's like, okay, I've experienced X, Y, and Z. You could be anywhere on this spectrum. Now, I have to trust myself enough to say that I'm going to make the best decision for myself, for my wellness, for my health, in choosing to let you be in my life or choosing to not let you be in my life. But that goes back to trusting yourself. You have to be able to say, okay, the reason why I use my husband as an example in the beginning is because of everything else that I've experienced with men, it makes it hard, no matter what he says or does, sometimes it makes it hard for me to still see and understand it for what it is. So the same thing is in my relationships with my friends. New people, when they come into my life, it's like, okay, yeah, you showing me, but are you really showing me? Is this a facade? Or is this like you were saying earlier, Mariah, about genuine, real people? You can tell, you can feel it. Sometimes you can't feel it, but that's that discernment that you gotta pick up on. That trust in yourself.
So the thing about it is, like, Chris Davis says, so is trust a negative thing? Trust is not a negative thing. I think the situation that Imani was speaking on is she was speaking on her trust being broken. Trust is a positive thing. Trust is knowing that you can rely on somebody. Trust is knowing that you can depend on somebody, knowing for sure that someone will rescue you. And my definition of trust is knowing for sure that that your wellness is their intention, or their intention is conducive to your wellness. Okay. Knowing for sure that their intention is conducive to your wellness. So if someone's intention is to hurt you, that is not conducive to your wellness. If someone's intention is to do something that could potentially hurt you or could potentially put you in harm's way, whether spiritually, emotionally, mentally, or physically, holistically, any aspect of your holistic wellness, if their intention goes against any of those aspects, you cannot trust them. If their intention is not conducive to your wellness, you cannot trust them. But if their intention is conducive to your wellness, which is a positive thing, then you can trust them. Now, what Imani was speaking on was her sister friend, who she thought was her friend. She trusted this person. She thought that her intentions was conducive to her wellness. It was not. She showed her through her actions and how she treated something she loved, which was her dog, was not conducive to her wellness. The fact that she lied to her about it was not conducive to her wellness. The fact that she sent her on a wild goose hunt is not conducive to her wellness. Therefore, that's not someone she could trust. So trust is a positive thing, but the question is their intention conducive to your wellness? Now, for me personally, Simp, like when I think about, that situation of having past trauma, because what you just spoke on with your husband seems to go back to past trauma. It goes back to how you were treated by men in the past. You were disappointed, you were let down. But the real question is, are you starting him with a blank slate, or are you holding him accountable for other people's disappointments? Are you holding your husband accountable for other people's actions? The shit they should be held accountable for, you may be holding him accountable for, which is often what we do in our life. Often what we do is when we go through a series of abuse, when we go through a series of disappointment, when we go through a series of trauma, oftentimes what happens is we hold other people accountable for our trauma, which is a problem. We hold people accountable for the way that we were abused by other people, which is a problem. Not trusting someone is a coping mechanism to them letting you down, to them not putting your wellness a part of their intention. So the way we respond to someone doing things that is not conducive to our wellness is we don't trust them anymore, and that's okay. But you cannot carry that from that person to the next person. That's why I always say tabula rasa, start them with a blank slate. When you meet new people, we have to start new people with a blank slate. You cannot hold other people accountable for your trauma.
But
stop holding other people accountable for that. Go ahead, sis.
That's the reason why I wanted to bring up that me having trust issues but still being able to trust my husband is because he's teaching me that people are not the same. Situations are not the same. And I find myself a lot of the time apologizing because I put situations on him. I overthink a lot of stuff, and then before I know it, it's 10,000. I done had 10,000 thoughts, and all of a sudden it's just something off the wall, and he don't even understand what's going on, and I have to break it down to him, which is why it's good for you to have a partner that is patient and understanding and understands you have trauma and they have trauma, and y'all have to sit down and talk about it. Because even when you get married, you think that you worked on everything, but you still have stuff that you have to work on. And trust it is one of those things, especially if you're somebody like me that's been through a lot of stuff with men and your own father. So it's a lot of stuff that you really have to learn not to bring into that marriage. Like I said, it keeps going back to trusting yourself, but always be willing to do that work and apologize for not being on point some days. Understand that you have to hold yourself accountable. Understand that it's not going to be pretty every day. And you're not going to have all the answers every day. Some days you're going to be wrong. And it's okay to be wrong, but what's not okay is to not be willing to learn or grow from your situation.
Absolutely.
Everybody is different. It's okay to trust people. It's okay.
I think that's an excellent point. The fact that you said everybody is different, and the fact that you got to grow. And so you telling the situation in regards to your husband, you telling the situation, me telling the situation in regards to the dog, you really have got to give yourself the opportunity to grow. It is pouring down cats and dogs like a little tropical storm outside here in Atlanta. I don't know if y'all hear that, but the wind is crazy. Yeah.
We heard it.
Mm-hmm. So if y'all hear some knocking on the window, it's just Mother Nature.
But no, like that statement was powerful. You know what I'm saying? Because in marriage, marriage is a commitment. That's a commitment to grow and to heal with someone through all their processes. I was gonna say through all their shit, but really through all their processes. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't mind, and honestly, if you don't mind, can you share a little bit about your journey of trust within relationships, and how did you even get to the point where you felt like you can start to heal from the past trauma? Ooh, come on, Thunder. Come on, Shango. Oh, yeah.
So listen, as a child of and Shango, one thing I don't do, I love y'all, but I'm going to have to go. Okay. I don't play with lightning. Even though everybody put your stuff on charges, but I don't want nothing to happen to my baby behind me. And so we're gonna finish this. If it cools out, I'll try to call back in. But I love y'all. Be well.
Ashe.
Ashe. Okay. Symphony, I love you, sis. I'm going to talk to you later, okay?
Okay.
We got to pay attention to when it's like vibing out here.
I understand. Catch that energy, sis.
Right,
much love to you.
Love y'all.
All right.
Peace.
Okay. But Sam, so for you, can you speak a little bit about that journey of love and trust that you went on?
So I'm still actually going on the journey. Like, even though I'm married, girl, no. Still gotta do the work separately, even together, but more so separately than together. But I don't know. Like I told you, I started with Savannah State when I met Jackie, and they poured into me and started breaking down these walls, and I was able to actually experience love and family and learn that it's okay to be protected and to be loved. And then that opened doors to me being okay with, because I've always been a hopeless romantic, like never really been in relationships like that, but I've just been a hopeless romantic. So I've always been ready for a relationship. When it's a go, it's a go. So even going into potential relationships, I was fairly trusting. So this is something really new, not trusting somebody and to be married and just now starting to have trust issues is crazy. And it's not even because of the new people, it's just old people. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know, Mariah. I'm just
And
sitting
that's
here thinking about
okay.
everything. I'm just
That's
sitting,
okay. Go ahead. What you gonna say?
I'm just sitting here thinking about love and trust. And I watched Will Smith a couple of, I know I'm going on this whole tangent, but
No, go ahead. Please
I
go.
watched Will Smith, and he was talking about how it's not his responsibility to make his wife happy, to make Jada happy. It's his responsibility to make himself happy and for her to make herself happy. And I think the
Mm,
common misconception is when you get married that everything is going to be, that's the fix all. Like all the problems that you had when you were dating, you no longer have those problems. But if you didn't deal with those problems before you got married, those are going to be the same things that you're going to have to work on with your partner. You just better hope that you have a patient and trusting partner to understand that it's still some work that needs to be done. I
absolutely.
might not be here in certain areas, but I'm here in this marriage and I'm ready to work. Always be willing to
Mm,
apologize and to grow.
mm,
So
absolutely.
I don't know, Mariah.
You know that you said a couple of powerful things. You know, I think the fact that you are able to recognize that you are on a journey, you know, you don't have it all figured out. I feel like the first mistake that people make in relationships is thinking that they know it all, you
Yeah.
know, and thinking that they do have it all figured out. So the fact that you are honest and open and willing to say, like, look, I'm on a healing journey when it comes to this trust thing. You know, are you here with me? And he's saying, I'm here with you, and he's showing you that he's here with you. I think that's dope
You know,
within itself.
before we got married, us dating, I told him that I'm afraid, but I'm in love with you. I'm afraid, but
Uh,
when
oh,
girl, the day that I realized I had fallen in love with him, I was having a full-fledged panic attack. I called one of my friends. I was like, girl, I'm falling in love with him. I don't know what to do. And she on the other end of the phone, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Girl, just fall in love. But for me, like the first time that I fell in love with my ex, it was like I gave my all. I dived into it head first. I didn't have nothing left for me. So this time it was like, I don't know, I can't lose myself anymore. So the whole time going into it, I was like, I can't lose myself. I'm not going to lose myself. I refuse to lose myself.
okay. Do you mind? You know, let me know, please, if you mind. But do you mind sharing your love story a
Okay.
little bit so that people can understand like the perspective that you're speaking from in regards to your love story?
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
literally, my best friend and I, we were supposed to be going out to eat. Got to my best friend's house and I walked in the door and he was sitting right there. I didn't pay him no mind. I just spoke, went to the restroom, go to the restroom, and my best friend yells, "Oh, Shamar thinks you're cute." And I'm like, "Oh, that's dope." I wasn't expecting that. We go on about our day. We go out to eat. Now, at first, I thought it was just going to be me and my best friend, but it was me, her husband, and Shamar, my husband. So we all go out to eat, and I could tell he was kind of feeling me or whatever. But I was like, I'm not really interested in talking to nobody. But we exchanged Snapchats and we started texting, communicating back and forth. And we had really good conversations about a whole bunch of stuff, not even just one topic. We talked about everything from sun up to sundown. And I was working at Savannah State Police Department, so I was doing these crazy hours. And some nights he would stay up with me and just talk to me. And we would have these really long, extensive, deep conversations. So we stopped talking for a little while or whatever. And I was still thinking about him, but you know how women are. We not, once you do something or I feel like I'm not interested, I'm not really going to reach out. So for a little while, I was still thinking about him, but not really reaching out to him like that. And then all of a sudden, he reached back out to me or whatever. And that was the moment that I realized that I loved him, because I was like, okay, I've been thinking oh my God, crazy crazy about this dude. And of course you think about other dudes, but the way I thought about him and I felt about him. And then at the time I was celibate. I had been celibate for 2.5 years. So when I met him, I was like, dudes always just want to have sex. I know it ain't gonna be nothing serious, but with him, it was all about getting to know me. It was never, oh, I just want to talk to you so I can have sex. When I tell you, this man comes up with mantras. If I'm having a bad day, this man will make me sit there and say a mantra. Girl, when I tell you,
come on now, you know.
we started back talking or whatever, and I realized I was falling in love, like I said, and I called one of my friends and I'm panicking. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm at Savannah State Police Department, boo-hoo crying. It's nobody else in the building with me. I'm on the phone with my friend, boo-hoo crying because I can't believe I'm falling in love with him. And she's like, what's the problem with falling in love with him? What are the risks of you falling in love with this man? And I couldn't think of one thing. One thing. When I tell you, this man has brought nothing but positivity and love and light, passion and happiness, like motivation, not just to me, but to other people. To see him around other people, it's amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, the thing about that story is like you took a chance.
Yeah.
You took a chance. You know what I'm saying? You really took a chance. And to have, you know, your friend, that's a real friend, to be able to say, like, girl, what the hell wrong with you? You know, you tripping, sis. You know, to have a friend who will say that is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? And because you had that friend and you had that reality check, really, you were able to, you know, just step out on faith and just make it happen, and to know that you had someone who is committed to working through your trust issues and working through your shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's not an easy thing to find for a lot of people. And even for myself, like when I've done so much work. I've done so much work to heal from trauma, to heal from various forms of abuse. I've done so much work to do that you know, my thing is when I get into a deep, when I'm married, essentially, I want to be at what I feel at the moment, because I do recognize that we are always growing and we are always developing and we are always healing and we always identify new goals in our healing journey. But when I get to that space of marriage, I want to be at what I feel is my best self for that moment. You know what I'm saying? And a fear, and this is me being honest and transparent with my whole community, okay? A fear that I have is going into a marriage knowing that I am not at what I feel is my best self. And as you speak to me, what I'm realizing is that fear is really because I'm not sure if I will be accepted as anything less than my best self.
You know what? Something that I did was, and I didn't realize it until I went back through my journal, but I wrote down a list of the things that I wanted my husband, of the person that I wanted my husband to be. And then on the other side of that list, I asked myself, did I provide these things? Am I able to offer the same things that I want in my husband? And if not, what do I have to do to become that wife so I can get this husband? Now, I'm not going to say that everything on that list that I'm 100% there, but I can say that as long as you trust yourself and you believe that you are doing the best thing for yourself, regardless of everything else that you done did before. We're not talking about that clean slate. Forget all, this is a marriage at this point. Once you decided that you're going to say, okay, I'm ready for this, that means you trust yourself enough to trust this person with your life. That's what you
So as you are in that moment.
Exactly. You're not gonna be perfect. It's still stuff like whatever the perfect image of. I think this is why our grandparents and parents should have had this conversation with us, because I think we just assume that you get into this marriage and you're your perfect self. No, you still come with baggage. Not necessarily baggage in a toxic way, because I would hope that you don't come to your marriage with any toxicity. And if you do come with toxicity, I hope that it's something that y'all are willing to work past. But I think we just really need to start having these conversations about genuine conversations about our intentions. What are your intentions with yourself? And what are your intentions with me? And how do we expect to move forward collectively? What's the game plan?
I think, that really like speaks to how we define baggage, because, shout out to Erica Badu when she came out with Bag Lady, and she said that, her statement was, bag lady, you gonna miss your bus, because you got too much stuff. You can't hurry up, So when we think about that term baggage, we think toxicity. We associate baggage with toxicity, but really, baggage is anything that you are carrying with you, anything that you are bringing with you to the next realm, to the next level. We saw the meme of that girl, that I forgot what year that meme was trending, but the girl walking up the steps.
They changed the year.
She had all the suitcases and luggages and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And she was leaving behind certain baggages in the old year and stepping into the new year empty-handed. Well, I don't want to step in empty-handed. I want to step in carrying my peace. I want to step in carrying my joy, carrying everything that makes up my wellness. You know what I'm saying? So when we think about baggage, when I think of a lot of terms, I think of how we define things. So when I'm in conversation with people, something I'll often ask is, and y'all will see me as we continue to have, these Zoom lives with my sister Queens and my brother Kings, and because I'm gonna bring some men on here so we can get the male perspective of a lot of this stuff. So please tell your husband I'm gonna be tapping on his shoulder in a few minutes, But having these conversations so we can get the holistic perspective, but really, when I think about that, I think about the fact that when I think about baggage, I think about the fact that I don't ever want us to think that it's not okay to bring things with you. I don't want us to ever think that it's not okay to carry some stuff to the next level of who you are. It's okay to carry your wellness, however you define it. It's okay to carry your peace, to carry your joy, to carry your light, to carry your knowledge, your wisdom, to carry your understanding, carry your spirituality, your practices. It's okay to carry some of that stuff over. So I do feel, for me, there's positive baggage, So how I define baggage, I think baggage to me is anything that you bring with you. Anything you bring with you. And sometimes baggage is toxic, and sometimes it's a great thing. Sometimes baggage is negative. Sometimes it's amazing to have, and sometimes it's healing. You know what I'm saying? I think the question really is are you committed to your baggage? Are you more committed to your baggage than you are to growing? For me, I'm not so committed to any of my baggage that I'm not willing to let it go. I'm going to say that again. I'm not too committed to my baggage, or so committed to my baggage, that I'm not willing to let it go. I'm willing to release anything that is no longer conducive to my wellness in that moment, including what I think I know. For our wellness community check-in, a sister, she asked a great question, and the point that I made was essentially, you got to differentiate what you think and what you know for sure. I'm recognizing that there are many things I don't know. It's a lot of shit I think. It's a lot of stuff I think is possible, and it's a lot of stuff I think I know. But I'm committed to releasing a lot of things that I think versus what I know for sure. So I'm okay with releasing certain thought patterns, certain practices, certain beliefs. Like, y'all just saw me release a certain belief that I had in the beginning of this live, where my view of trust was, when I trust someone, or when I meet someone, I meet them and I trust them. My philosophy was I start them out with a blank slate. I'm going to start you with a blank slate. I start you with an open book. But if I recognize that I cannot trust you, then I don't trust you. I trust everybody. But through speaking with my sister Queen Imani, I realized that that's not necessarily the healthiest thing to do. It's not necessarily the healthiest thing to trust everybody in the beginning, because, in fact, you are not starting them with a blank slate.
Yeah.
You are starting them with a building block of trust, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's a philosophy that when I meditate on that, I may change my mind. I may release that belief. I
Mm.
may decide to do away with that. And really, you guys, once again, my intention with having these open conversations, with having these Zoom meetings with my sister Queens, that we decide, because we make the collective decision to go live on YouTube, when we decide to share these conversations, is so that you guys can see those aha moments.
Yeah.
You guys can see those times where we decide, like, you know what? I thought that, but damn, sis, you got a good point.
Mhm.
Maybe I need to release this. Okay, that's a great resource. Let me read that. That's a good documentary. Let me watch that. That sounds good. You made me think about something. Let me go meditate on that. So, you guys, this is how growth happens. This is how knowledge is gained. This is the value of having a good sister circle. This is the value of having a good brother circle, a good friend circle. And how we cultivate this, how I've cultivated this is I may meet a friend. That friend has friends. He or she introduces me to their friends.
Mhm.
They introduce me to their friends. We bring everybody together. I introduced them to some other friends. They got friends who got
Yep.
friends. And this is how we grow our circles. So everybody who says that, they may not feel that they have these sister circles. They may not feel like they have their brother circles. First off, you have one, because you now are a part of ours.
Mhm.
And we are now opening up the window to our circle. So if you want to climb in the window and you want to
Wait
be
till
up
you
in this, you up in this. But if you want to cultivate your own, this is how we cultivate it. This is how we do it. I met Sim through a mutual friend of ours. I met Imani in class. Sim
Yeah.
and Imani now know each other. Sim's husband is going to be a part of our conversations. He will be a part of my brother circle. His friends may come in and may then be a part of my brother circle as well. I'm going to introduce them to my brother, who has his own brother circles. And this is how we build community. This is how we build community. Joy Hughes, who's was just in here, I met her through Imani, who, as you just saw, is my sister. Deamba, we met through Joy, who is our sister. So you see how the sister circle gets built and brings on. I knew my key, and
Yeah.
this is how we do it. So I never want y'all to feel like you don't have the ability to have this. You just got to know how to cultivate this.
Mhm.
This is how we cultivate the circles. And if you don't feel like you have it, you got it now, because we here.
We
Okay, so welcome to the circle. This is love. This is light. And one thing I will say regarding the topic of trust is that you can trust that we always gonna keep it real on this channel. We always gonna be honest and transparent on this channel. Okay. Before we even go live, we make sure to cultivate an authentic conversation, solidified in our truth. Okay. Solidified in our truth. So this is a safe space. This is an honest space. And honestly, there may not ever be a conclusion. There may not ever be a conclusion. Imani just, she said how she felt on trust. Simp just spoke about her experience on trust. I spoke about my experience and how I feel with trust, and how even through this conversation, I am transitioning with how I feel about trust. I just told y'all I'm going to go meditate on it and see how I feel after listening to my sister Queens. And this is how we grow.
Mhm.
So you should do the same if you can. Go meditate on it. Go think about it. See how you feel. And you draw your own conclusion, because something that I am against is groupthink.
Yeah.
I am not here to tell you how to think. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to share information and knowledge, to bring my beautiful sister queens and my brother kings who have an abundance of information and knowledge. That's all I'm here to do. And you do with it as you please. And you come to your own conclusions and your own beliefs and you shape your own thinking. My goal is not to shape your thinking. My goal is just to share. And you do what you like with that. Simp, you have anything you want to say? Anything you want to add?
I'm so glad that I actually was able to come and be a part of this, because I don't know, I just love being a part of where knowledge is. I just love being where knowledge is. So I thank you for allowing me to be on your channel tonight. Thank you. And I thank
Absolutely.
everybody in the comments for your dope conversations and your positive energy and your love. I appreciate everything. I'm gonna go back and read them once we get off of here.
Absolutely. Shout out to Orange Moon, my moderator for tonight. I appreciate you so much, Orange Moon. Thank you for the love. Simone, I feel that. Simone said some people don't mix. I definitely agree with that. Some people don't mix, but I think it goes back to a statement that we said earlier, which was essentially like, if you know that you don't mix with someone or you know someone's intention is not conducive to your wellness, that's when you have to activate your power and
Right.
know when to release them
Not
and know when to let them go. Go
now
ahead.
that you brought that up, I think about like times when you just can't figure out why you don't like being around a person. Your spirit just don't mix well with a person. Like, what do you do in those situations? Do you still try to be around that person? Or do you just be like, oh, my spirit don't trust you, so I don't trust you?
I have in the past. Like so in Caribbean culture, for y'all who don't know, my father's Panamanian, which is like Afro Latino Caribbean type culture. If you know anything about Panama, you know. So, in Caribbean culture, they say vex, like you vex my spirit, you vex me. And if someone vexes me, if someone vexes my spirit, essentially that's a sign. That's spirit speaking. That's feeling the vibe, feeling the energy in the room. In the South, they say my vibe, like the vibe ain't right. It don't feel good in here. Something about this shit is
Yeah.
off. And when you get that feeling, that's spirit speaking. That's your intuition. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta tap into that. You got to know what that is. You got to tap into that. Don't ignore that. Don't ignore your spirit speaking. Don't ignore those vibes. Tap into that. Tap into that and follow it, because it'll never steer you wrong. As long as you are coming in with a clear slate, as long as you are coming in blank. If you're coming in anxious, you're coming in with anxiety, you're coming in with inhibitions, then yeah, you're kind of tainted a little bit, right? Because you have your own negative thought patterns that you're entering into a situation. But if you're coming in with a blank slate and you're coming in hoping for wellness, but then your spirit is vexed upon being in the aura of the person, being within the energy field of the person or the environment, if your spirit turns, cut it off. That's spirit speaking. They letting you know what it is. I've tried to go along. You know what I'm saying? I tried to like, oh, let me just give this a chance. And then I'm reminded of why not. Even when I come and try to meet them with my best, I'm reminded of why my spirit tried to warn me to flee, you know? And then the lesson I always got to go back to is follow your spirit.
Yeah.
Follow your spirit. My grandma used to say, follow your first mind. Which your first mind is the spirit. The spirit leads the body. The spirit leads the mind leads the body. Your spirit is your first mind. For real, for real. So follow your spirit first and it'll tell your mind what to do. But sometimes we talk our mind out of doing what we know is best.
So how you trust your intuition if you don't trust yourself?
But that's the thing. That's a good question. How do you trust your intuition when you don't trust yourself? That's the healing work. The healing work is going back to why you don't trust yourself. And a way to rebuild trust with yourself, I think, and I've experienced, the way to rebuild trust with yourself is giving yourself another chance. You got to give yourself another chance to make the right decision, to do the right thing. And giving yourself another chance to do the right thing looks like when your spirit tells you go, you go.
Yeah.
Give yourself another chance. Next time your spirit speaks, listen. If your spirit tells you stay, stay. No matter what your flesh wants to do, no matter what your trauma wants to do. Because your trauma may say, leave.
Mm-hmm.
Your trauma may say, stay. Are you going to follow your trauma or are you going to follow your
See,
spirit?
now you stirring up something else. How you listening to your trauma? How do you know whether you're listening to your trauma or whether you're listening to intuition or
The feeling. The feeling. Trauma is hot.
Yeah.
Trauma is nervous.
Yeah. Okay.
Trauma is scared. Trauma is, trauma is taking hold when you get into that flight mode. Trauma is fight or flight.
Right.
If you are in fight mode or you're in flight mode, that's trauma.
Yeah.
That's trauma. That is pure trauma. Fight or flight is pure trauma. Some people think that that's a coping mechanism to wellness. Fight or flight is pure survival mode trauma. You know what healing looks like? Healing looks like being able to stand strong no matter what.
Yeah.
Healing looks like being able to look and say, you know what? I'm well. And to be able to remain who you are at your core self. Cutting somebody off is not flight, because I know some people are like, well, when you cut somebody off or if you leave a toxic environment, isn't that flight? No. That's remaining who you are, but that's setting your boundaries. Envision yourself in a safe space. Envision yourself centered in your wellness, right? You have your boundaries that are healthy boundaries set up around your wellness, right? What you have the power to do is remain centered in your wellness. When someone is able to knock you off your square, take you off your dean, any term that you like to use, that means that you are no longer centered in your wellness. You are now knocked off of your square, right? So then you know that trauma has kicked in. Trauma has kicked in when you feel yourself getting out of character. When you feel yourself getting character is your wellness. When you feel yourself coming up outside of yourself, your healthy whole self, then that means that you are responding to trauma. So then the question is, what is your wellness? Do you know your wellness? Do you identify your wellness in the wellness community? Shout out to everybody who's a part of the wellness community. In the wellness community today, I posted because we have a new moon in our horizon. Matter of fact, what time is it? The new moon peaks at 10:41 tonight. It is 10:07. The new moon is in Leo, which Leo carries what I like to call a boss up energy.
Yeah.
It carries a powerful manifestation energy where our mental is aligned with our physical. So we have the boss mentality. Now we have to move in boss action. So this is a supreme time to manifest as you desire, but you got to know what your goal is and how you manifest it. So I put up a happiness quiz in the wellness community, but if you are not a part of the wellness community, I'll give you this glimpse of how to manifest. And essentially, when it comes to manifesting your wellness, the first thing you need to do is set your goal. What does your wellness look like? What does your wellness feel like? What does your wellness sound like? What does it smell like? When you picture yourself as supreme wellness, what does that look like, feel like, smell like, sound like? What are you thinking? What are you saying? Really envision your wellness on all aspects. Now put yourself there. That is what you are centered in. So the question is, when you are centered at your wellness, who and what is knocking you off your center? That is your trauma.
Yeah.
Those are your triggers. Whatever can remove you or knock you off that center, you got to identify your wellness first. Whatever is knocking you off that center, is the very thing that is your trigger.
Yeah.
Know that for sure. That is how you are able to identify that. Know that for sure. A lot of us are centered in trauma and not centered in wellness. A lot of us are centered in trauma and not centered in happiness, not centered in joy, not centered in peace. A lot of us are sitting comfortably in trauma and we don't even know it. You'll know once you identify what is wellness for you. If you are centered in anything but wellness, you may be sitting in trauma.
I swear, every time you give me something to think about.
And I got some things to think about. Okay, so because let me tell you, your whole love story journey, is very much like it triggered a lot of thinking for me about what the journey is supposed to look like. And a lot of people in the chat was saying like that's an amazing story and stuff like I'm happy you found that connection, because once again having that feeling of am I sure is this right? And some people think that when you fall in love the right way, you're supposed to immediately know for sure. But the fact that you still have to pick up the phone and call someone that you trust, going back to the core of the conversation, you still had to call someone you trust and you were able to say, like, I don't know, is this right? And the person you trust was able to shake you and say, wake up. That's a real thing. So you got me thinking of who do I feel like could be that phone call, which I'm blessed to have a plethora of people I feel could be that phone call, but also what do I think a love story is supposed to look like? And I'm sure a lot of other people are thinking the same thing. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing your love story.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking me about it.
If people want to support you, how can they support? What are some ways that they can reach out to you? Plug your stuff.
You can follow me on Instagram. My personal page is Athenix the fourth, ATHENIX.IV. And then on Facebook is Symphony Thompson. Symphony with a C, not with an S, because we bougie around here.
Symphony with a C.
Yes. And Cash App is Beauty, BEAUT, the number 2, FADED, Beauty 2 Faded. What else, Mariah? Was that everything?
No, I was just telling you to plug your stuff. We actually have a couple questions, so if you have a couple more minutes, can we answer a couple questions? So, let me see. Brandy Cheek said, off topic, but can you have an ancestral altar on your nightstand with things on your nightstand like lamps, candles, etc.? Absolutely. You can actually make the candles a part of your ancestral altar. What colors are the candles? If you don't mind sharing, if you could do that real quick, please answer. But if you don't mind sharing the colors of your candles, I can probably tell you what the colors can represent and what you can add those to your altar for, or you can add them with whatever intention that you would like to implement them with. But absolutely, you can keep your ancestral altar on your nightstand. Your altar is whatever you make it. So once again, tools are essentially inanimate, however you say, inanimate objects that you implement with intention. That's what turns it into a tool. So anything can become a tool, but it's just the object that you turn into an intention. So you can have that. Now, Simp, this one is for you. Due to childhood trauma stemming from emotional neglect, clearly stating my intentions, boundaries, needs, and desires was hard. I'm learning that my intuition guides me in a direction of healing. So essentially with childhood trauma, any childhood trauma, intentions, boundaries, needs, desires, setting those boundaries, stating what you need, stating what your desires are. Was that hard for you? And what recommendations would you give someone who is deciding right now that they want to start the journey that you are on? They want to start the journey of healing? What would you recommend to
It's
them?
hard. It's hard, but it's worth it. It's a very, when I say it's rewarding, it's so rewarding. But I also, let me see the question again. Where was it?
It is, you probably got to scroll up a little bit. So essentially, what recommendations would you give someone who is starting the journey of healing from childhood trauma?
Okay. You have to have people, it goes back to that trust. You have to have people around you that understand and know you're going to need to be rescued. Not all the time, but sometimes they have to understand that you're still learning and you're growing and you're going to need somebody to rescue you. They have to understand and be able to identify what you being rescued is. So that means you have to learn how to verbalize those things, which means you have to do the work to understand yourself first. Nobody else is going to understand how to save you if you don't know how to do it yourself. Be a part of your own rescue. Love yourself enough to say, okay, I have to figure out what I need so that I can better vocalize my needs to other people. If you need to tell people that you need somebody to check in on you every now and then, tell them that. If you say, oh, I need to set, these are my boundaries and you don't need to cross these boundaries, do that. Whatever that looks like for you, that's what you need to do. That's what your wellness is. That's what you doing you holistically is. But you have to first identify those things for you. Nobody else can say that. Nobody else can say, oh, these are the things that are important to you. These are the things that you need to feel whole and to feel loved. You have to know that stuff for you first. So dig deep, work hard, get a journal, change the music that you listen to. Start listening to podcasts, start reading more books, do something so you can understand you enough so you can better articulate your needs to somebody else, especially your partner, especially with traumas, because with traumas, sometimes they just resurface and you react out of trauma. And if your partner already knows you and already knows your trauma, they'll be able to say, okay, that's not you. That's your situation speaking. That's your situation. And my husband just had to check me on that yesterday. Just had to check me. So you have to, they got to know you. They have to know you, but you have to know you first.
I love that. Knowledge yourself. Knowledge yourself. That was amazing advice. Someone asked, Simone Jones said, is it best to choose your mate or be chosen? Do you think it's best to choose your mate or do you think you should be chosen?
Listen, I'm the type of woman, I go after what I want. So any dude that I've ever talked to is because I wanted to talk to them. What I had to learn is a real man gonna come find you. He gonna shut everything down. When I tell you, when we stopped talking, he still made a way to check up on me and still did stuff without me knowing that he would. When a man wants you, we didn't even say we was together. We just was together. I just knew that this was my husband. Because when a man know, he know. But that's something that I was never taught. I thought that I had to do all these things to get a man's attention. So I ended up in a whole bunch of crazy situations with a whole bunch of men that I knew didn't love me. And then I was left with that trauma. I was left to deal with all that stuff. And now I'm still unlearning those traumas. And sometimes those things resurface and my husband has to deal with those things. Don't be chasing no man, honey. Your man gonna come. Listen, I walked through a door and this man said that I was his wife. From the day that he met me, he said that I was his wife. When the man know, he know.
Simone said, okay, sis, you know.
He know.
Let me tell you, let me tell you, as I was raised very old school, and I'm still very old school. No disrespect to any of the sisters who identify as feminists. You know, I am a womanist. I don't identify as a feminist. I'm a womanist. However, I do, recognize that a large part of the feminist movement is, to chase men. And, they are encouraging women to, propose to a man if they want to get married and all that stuff. And no shade to the women who choose to do that. But I spent a period contemplating, am I tripping? Am I bugging? Am I the one who's supposed to propose? Am I the one who's supposed to really be like shooting the shots and really like, that's just not who I am. So I chose to not do that. So to hear you say, that it's okay, because I embrace being chased. I appreciate being, chasing and stuff like that. For me personally, that's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
I thought though for a while that maybe I was doing something wrong because maybe I'm supposed to be the one that shoots my shot. Maybe I'm supposed to be the one that chases.
Listen,
And it wasn't until that I embraced what you... Go ahead.
I said I done shot so many shots. It ain't you, sis. It ain't the right. It ain't the right hoop. It ain't yours. It ain't time for the buzzer. It's not yours.
That's not me. That's not in my character. It's not in my character.
Something else, like, I don't know if, well, I guess we're just blessed, but I realized, like, I always thought that in order for you to have a good relationship, like even my ex-boyfriend told me one time, he was like, I thought you didn't love me because you didn't argue with me. So then I started arguing or whatever. So I created this idea that in order for you to have a good relationship, you got to have problems. You gotta have drama. You gotta have, when I tell you this is the most peace that I have ever had, ever. And it's scary sometimes because I'm so used to it always being something. I'm so used to always having to fight with a man about wanting to be present. Now it's so free, and I be like, well, okay, I ain't got no choice but to be happy. When you supposed to, you don't have to fight no more. Like a real man, you don't have to fight with. Somebody that wants to be there with you, you don't have to fight. You don't have to question. You don't have to wonder or worry. When it's you, it's
I love that.
It's all you.
I love that. I love that. So Jasmine Watkins said, can you trust someone with one thing but not others? So she's going back to the topic of trust. Can you trust someone with one thing but not others? Is there a difference between trust and absolute trust? Or is there is there only no trust in absolute trust? I'm curious on others' opinions on this. So essentially she's asking, can you trust someone with certain things? And also, is there a difference between trusting someone a little bit and trusting someone completely? Or is it just no trust at all? Is it either you trust them or you don't? What do you think about that?
Like, it's possible, yes, but why would I trust you to do open heart surgery if I don't trust you to do the surgery that you're gonna be able to complete it? Like, if I gotta worry going into surgery, why would I even let you operate on me? So I feel the same way about trust. If I got to do anything half-assed, it's not real, and it's not me, and it's not worth it.
First off, you're not allowed to do that. You can't just, you're not allowed to just hit us with some type of clarifying analogies like that. Okay, girl. Because I was just going to say, honestly, Jasmine, I don't damn know. Okay, honestly, I'm still contemplating because as I said in the beginning of the podcast, for me personally, my philosophy was, in the beginning, I trust you. until you give me a reason not to trust you. I trust you in the beginning. I'm coming to you open and trusting. But once you show me that you cannot be trusted, I'm not trusting your ass.
Yeah.
So my philosophy was either I trust you or I don't. And in the beginning, I trust you. If you show me that I can keep trusting you, then cool. You forever got my trust. If you show me that I can't trust you, then I don't trust you. And then once Imani spoke about her perspective of trust, her position was we have to start people and they have to earn their trust, you know. So I really was in a space of contemplation. As I said, I'm going to go back and meditate on that. Simp just Claire, girl, that surgery analogy, honey. Can you say that one more time? That surgery analogy is great.
If I can't trust you to do surgery on me, I ain't gonna let you do nothing half-assed. So if I can't trust you to do surgery on me, no, I can't.
If I can't trust you to do the whole surgery, why am I gonna go in surgery at all?
If you can
If I
stick
can't trust that,
thing now, but you gotta go in here, move some stuff around, cut some stuff. If I can't trust, just sutures, no. You got to be able to do the whole operation,
come on now,
and be
come
able to
on now,
how to heal myself afterwards.
come on now. I'm here for that. I'm here for that analogy, and I'm still gonna go into meditation on this. So you guys, family, will be revisiting the topic of trust
And
and all of that stuff. I'm going to go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I only say that because if you do, I feel like if you trust people partially, that means you're going to always be on the edge. To be like, okay, well, I can come to you for this, but I can't come to you for this. But I don't know, because sometimes you kind of shifty and no, it's too many questions. If you can't say with 100% guaranteed honesty that this person is going to be able to do this without hesitation, no, it's no half-ass. Who want to be on a seesaw all their life? Teeter tottering. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. I can trust you with this, but I can't. No, either it's the whole heart or it's none at all.
Come on now. Come on now. So, like I said, y'all, I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna go back and watch this live, and I'm gonna meditate and see how I feel. Okay, because I don't know. Okay, I thought I knew, but I don't know clearly. So I'm gonna go back and meditate and see how I feel on trust. Alicia Cadet said, "How do you get rid of the fear of someone getting to know all aspects of yourself?" How do you get rid of the fear of someone getting to know all aspects of yourself? Alicia Cadet.
I think we have the power to let people get to know as much or as little of who we are. Nobody can say, oh, I'm going to know the full extent of who you are without your permission. And then the beauty of being private, you tell people just as much as you want to, and they think they know so much about you. It's just how you present it. It's just how you present it. But I don't think you have to let where's the question again?
Alicia Cadet. She said, how do you you gotta scroll up a little bit.
How do you get rid of the fear of someone getting to know all aspects of yourself? You don't have to, nobody knows everything about everybody. Your parents don't know everything about you. Your siblings don't know every single waking detail about you. It's certain nuances about yourself that you don't even realize that you do until somebody points it out. So I don't really think that I understand the fear of opening up and letting people get to know you, but as far as them knowing all aspects of you, that's up to your discretion. That's up to your discretion.
For me personally, like I agree with Amber Jackson. Amber Jackson said, "Start loving every aspect of yourself, and you won't be fearful to share yourself with others." For me personally, that's how I feel. I share all of myself
Yeah, me too.
with everybody. Okay, I share all of myself with everybody, and you guys, like even with y'all, so most things, trust and believe. I'd be like, bruh, this probably is too much to be telling on YouTube, or this may be too much to be saying or showing or whatever. But as I said, I'd rather be my authentic self than to be somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that about everybody. I'm a person who I can bring all of my friends, no matter how I met you or where I met you, I can bring all of my friends together and I don't have to worry about them meeting each other because they all know the authentic me. You know what I'm saying? They don't ever have to worry about, oh, will she switch up when she around this person? Because everybody knows the authentic me. And the reason I don't mind sharing the whole me with people is because, as Amber said, I love all aspects of me. And my philosophy is if you can't handle that aspect,
Yeah.
then you can't handle me. If you can't handle my ratchet side, you don't deserve my healing side. You know what I'm saying? My healer me, my spiritual me. You can't handle, me who loves hip hop, then you don't deserve me who loves gospel music. If you can't handle me who loves gospel music, you don't deserve me who has an unapologetic love for Sugarland, who's a country music band. If you can't handle me talking about spirituality, then you can't handle me talking about that walk and talking about sex. You know what I'm saying? Because really, within myself, all aspects tie within each other. You know what I'm saying? All aspects come together to make up who I am. So I may be talking about Kirk Franklin melodies from heaven, and I may be saying like, bro, when that nigga did that, melody, come
Yeah.
on now, that nigga killed this shit, right? Like, I may get a little ratchet talk about Kirk Franklin, but it doesn't take away from the fact that
Yeah.
I'm excited by the level of creativity and magic that he has. So my ratchet just accentuates my spiritual. My
Yeah.
spiritual accentuates my mental. My mental accentuates the other aspects, my physical, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't feel the need to hide any part of me. And if you can't accept all parts of me, then I just ain't for you. Don't pick and choose what part of me you want.
Yeah.
Don't pick and choose what part of me you willing to accept. Because if you can't accept the whole me, then you don't deserve none of me. And that's just my philosophy.
At my best or my worst.
Okay. Come on now. Let me check and see if we have any more questions. Um, See what they said. That's me. I'm private and share only what I don't mind the world knowing. And that's understandable. I definitely understand that. Uh, Orange Moon, the right person won't even ask you. You'll want to share your innermost self when the right connection is created. That's understandable. Okay, so I think we answered all questions. I think we answered all questions. So much love. Thank y'all so much, family, for joining us. Simp, thank you for being here, y'all. Please go follow Simp on Instagram, on Facebook. Check out her podcast, The Love Circle. I'm on there sometimes. Imani is on there sometimes. Check out, where can they listen to The Love Circle, sis?
We are on anchor.fm. We are on not Apple Music. What's the podcast thing on Apple? Podcast.
Y'all on, y'all on Apple Podcast.
We are on Spotify. I don't remember the other platforms, but Anchor posted on other platforms as well. So it's on several platforms. But Spotify, podcast, and Anchor FM are the main ones that I use.
Okay, real quick. Eric said that we missed his question. I went back up to look at your question, Eric. He said, how do I date someone who is not open to dating outside of her culture? I think that's what he said. Let me go back up so I can read it verbatim. He said, if you wait, I was going to read the wrong comment. Hold on one second. Eric, I'm scrolling. Okay. Hold on, Eric. I'm coming. I know he said something about dating someone outside of their culture and how do you date someone.
How should I go about dating someone who's not sure about dating outside of her culture?
Yes, that's what he said.
Okay. So the thing about I think about dating outside of your culture or your religion, you have to have an open mind. You have to be open-minded because you're going to be introduced to a lot of new things that if you're not open to those things, then you're going to become judgmental, which becomes toxic in the relationship. And I think we need to become more empathetic and learn about other people's cultures and religions anyway. So when you're presented with a situation like that, you understand how to act in a situation instead of becoming offensive or defensive or in
Okay.
defending the other person. So I don't know if the person is closed-minded, I don't necessarily think the relationship is going to work unless they grow to be more open. That could
Okay.
be wrong though.
No, I definitely agree with that. Like I feel like if that person is not dating outside of if they're not open to dating outside of their culture, then with all due respect to that, but that's just where they are. And once again, going back to that topic of trust, and my philosophy is we have to ask ourselves, you know, do I trust myself with my wellness? And if you trust yourself with your wellness, it's about understanding your power of choice.
Yeah.
Understand your power of choice because a lot of your wellness dwells within accountability. As Imani talked about earlier, love is trust is accountability. If you love yourself, then you trust yourself. If you trust yourself, then you got to be accountable, and accountability comes from choices. Recognizing that you have the power to choose. So are you going to choose that person who is telling you that they will not choose you based on your culture? Are you going to choose that person who is telling you that they are not open to you? Because if they're not open to your culture, they're not open to you. So is that the choice that you're going to make? Understand that when you are making that choice, you are opening yourself up to hurt.
Yeah.
I advise that you don't do it.
Deny yourself, your culture, your family. Accepting that person denies everything else that you are.
Absolutely. Don't try to change their mind. Don't try to change anybody's mind. You know what I'm saying? People have to change because they want to change, not because you're telling them to change.
Yeah.
So she's telling you or he's telling you who they are. Believe them. Don't wait for them to show you. Don't wait for them to shut you down. Don't wait for them to deny your culture or deny who you are. They telling you they don't want it. Bye.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. You can't make it your mission or your goal to change their mind, because then the goalpost moves from, okay, I'm gonna change your mind, to now I gotta open you up to be willing to accept the various aspects of my culture. Now once you accept that, then can you love me with my culture? No, 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 no,
And
no.
why is
To
loving
me,
me and my culture second? You should already be doing that. I shouldn't have to force you to learn to love, to adjust to no. Mm-mm.
absolutely.
Love yourself.
Absolutely.
Love yourself
I
enough.
agree with that. So, Eric, I hope that was a answer to your question. Eric said, I feel you. I definitely tread lightly. Absolutely. Tread lightly, Eric. So love y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. Once again, thank you to Orange Moon, our moderator, in the comments. We appreciate you, Orange Moon. Thank you, Sim. I appreciate you, Symphony.
Yay.
Please support Symphony. I love her so much. Shout out to my big sister Queen, Imani Latifa, who was on here earlier. And I thank y'all so much for just watching, enjoying it, and constantly supporting and showing love. Thank you, thank you, thank you, family. The new moon peaks at 10:41
Okay.
Eastern Standard Time. It is currently 10:38. Okay, 10:38 Eastern Standard Time. So please set your intentions, manifest everything that you desire. Manifest it, manifest it, manifest it. If you are in the wellness community, please check the Patreon so that you can take the happiness quiz that I posted, and start manifesting happiness for this new moon season, because our next wellness community check-in will be centered around happiness and joy and our manifestations for this new moon. Much love, much light, peace, family, and thank y'all so much for watching. Peace.